Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Lima Charlie, coming at you today from a very different place than we've ever been before. We're down in San Diego Bay, and it's a Sunday morning, and I was thinking the boatyard would be pretty quiet, but it was not that at all. And we are down here hauled out. We're going to get a fresh coat of bottom paint, some anti-foul. The other stuff, which I'll show you later, was starting to wear kind of thin with the every month boat cleaning, and time goes by, and it's been about 3.5 years since I got the last bottom paint put on. And so, like I said, it was time to do it again. I also have a rigger that's going to come over and climb the mast. The wind indicator that is at the very top of the mast, mine blew off in a storm during the winter, and so I'm going to have to have a rigger go up and put the other one on. I was willing to do it myself, but my wife didn't want me to do that, and so she said that we should just buckle up and pay somebody else to do it. So anyway, let me show you around the boatyard and and where we are. As I said, we are in San Diego Bay, and this is America's Cup Harbor that we're in. And as compared to the boatyard that we were in before up in Mission Bay, this is a much more serious boatyard. You can see the size of some of the boats there. They're just incredible. They're really kind of small cruise ships. And my little 30-foot sailboat is amongst the others, or amongst the big ones, the giants. We are just a little midget, and but they're treating us really good, and I'm very happy so far. It looks like they're probably going to end up painting our boat tomorrow, and then we should be out of here probably Wednesday morning. This is the dock where we pulled up after sailing south. It was a 16-mile journey, and it went all in all pretty well. A few issues here and there, but for the most part I was very happy. So anyway, let's walk up and I'll show you. First of all, I'll show you, these are the lifts that they use to lift all of the boats out of the water. I'm not sure what they use to pull the giant boats out. It may fit in one of these, I don't know. But this is what they look like. And these are all controlled by remote control. And these straps just are incredibly strong. They put the plastic around there to try not to scratch up the hull of the boats as they pull them out. And you can see how this works in that they bring the two halves together, and then they put a very strong pin, this one right here, to hold the two halves together once they secure them underneath the boat. So it's quite an operation. I'll walk around here and show you some of the boats. This is a medium-sized boat here in Safe Harbor Marina, and there is a boat that looks very familiar. This is Lima Charlie out of the water, and we'll look closer at that later on. The noise that you're hearing is there is a boat over here, and you can see it's wrapped in plastic, and what they're doing is sandblasting the hull, the lower part of the hull that is in the water. They're sandblasting that prior to putting the paint on. And up ahead you can see the biggest boat that is currently in the boatyard. And I think you would agree that this is just a small cruise ship. And how they haul this thing out of the water. Good morning. How they haul this thing out of the water and get it on these stands is beyond me. One of the things I wanted to show you is this stabulator. There's one on the other side, of course, and this not only turns left and right as needed to guide the ship, but it also goes, the winglet here goes up and down to have the boat have a smoother ride. So it's computer controlled and compensates for the waves so that the boat doesn't go up and down so much. But isn't that huge? And down here in that tent that you see, there's a boat inside there getting a full paint job. And it's part of the eco-friendly, that's what I'm looking for, the eco-friendly part of regulations that require that any spray painting be done within an enclosed environment. So that's it until we get down to Lima Charlie. Okay, here we are back at Lima Charlie, and I'm going to have to talk up kind of loud to overcome the spray gun over there. You can see not only is this a familiar boat, but it's also a familiar woman up on the deck. That's my lovely wife, Kathy, and she is varnishing the eyebrow. It's called an eyebrow, a piece of strip of wood that goes along the side. Hey, Kat! And you can see what I was talking about with the condition of the paint kind of wearing off. I painted this personally the last time it was hauled out. We didn't have the entire bottom painted, but I did some touch-up and I painted the rudders. And you can see how it started to wear off near the trailing edge. This is a new propeller that we put on, and it is performing much better than the old one. You can see there's no wind indicator at the top of the mast, so that will be put on. We have the colors flying. Boy, that's loud. But that black patch area there is also something that I did the last time we hauled out. I sanded that down. There were a bunch of blisters there. So I sanded it down, fiberglassed it, and painted antifoul over the top of it. So tomorrow, this should look perfect underneath here. But the good news is that everything looks good up underneath here. We're not going to have any work done. There is a bearing within here called the cutlass bearing. And one of the things that you want to check with when you haul out is to see if this is loose. And thankfully mine is not. the process of getting this bearing out of here, out of the strut, is very hard. It's hard to do, and it costs an arm and a leg. This is some seaweed or something that we caught up underneath the prop, wrapped around the prop shaft. Another thing that you want to check when you haul out is the rudder post. There's a bearing right here behind this piece, and you want to try and move the rudder and see if there's any play in it, and there is not. All right, guys, here we are about 4 or 5 days later, taking a look at the boat after the work has been done, with the exception of the mast. They're going to put a new wind indicator at the top that blew off in a storm, as I mentioned, and they're going to lubricate the track where the main sail goes up and down. But here we are, and we've got a brand new paint job on the bottom, so the part that will be in the water. You can see that they polished up the propeller, which I'm very happy with. The strut looks outstanding. We still have some very small blisters, but none of them are of any problem. Everything's nice and smooth. I wish that I had had the bottom paint done on this boat the first time here, because they did a very superior job as compared to the other boatyard. But here we are, ready to go back in the water, and we go back in the water tomorrow, and we'll be headed back to Mission Bay, another 17-mile trip. So there we go.